You want to break that $1 million in commission goal. You want to be on a yacht, and on a private plane, on a jet, going around the world, enjoying all those commission checks, all those bonuses, all this, the sweet life of the salesperson, right? How do I get $3 million? Hey everyone, I'm Ian Ross, and this is Vivid Selling. Chances are you are probably setting your goals the wrong way. Look, we all know that in order to be successful, we need to set some type of goal, or at least most of us know that. But what if the goals we're setting, or at least the way we're setting them, are actually holding us back? I used to be guilty of this too. So I'm well aware of what this looks like and how it manifests itself in your life. So I'm gonna go over how you can avoid making these same mistakes and set goals and set actionable items to fulfill those goals in a way that makes what you want to have happen come true and makes you a lot more money, especially in a sales role. So today, I wanna talk about setting the right types of goals in your sales career. Because if you are a salesperson who thinks they should be making more money than they currently are, and you're constantly setting and then resetting goals while your money more or less stays the same, you're probably making this mistake. So use your imagination with me for a second. I'm gonna take you on a little bit of a journey. I'm gonna paint you a picture. Imagine if an extremely obese man wanted to run the Boston Marathon. But instead of going through the process of eating better and getting healthier day by day with incremental, careful exercise and working with a trainer, instead he decides the best way to run a marathon is to run as long and as hard as I possibly can 7 days a week until eventually I can run a marathon. And then the day after that, I'll be able to run the Boston Marathon, right? What if that was his approach? We know it wouldn't work, right? How well do you think it would work out? We know it wouldn't work out well. He would injure himself, he would blow out his knee, and he would give up because the goal is not achievable when set without having the correct action items, without being aware that there's a process you need to take step by step, day by day, to get to your goals and achieve the desired outcome. The same exact concept applies setting goals in your sales career. This is not just about setting a big goal and then hoping we achieve it, right? We don't want to just say, I'm going to make $1 million in commission this year, and then I'm just going to sell as much as possible, and then suddenly, guess what? You didn't make $1 million. You made 85,000, right? We don't want that to happen. It is about breaking this down into smaller, achievable goals that have actionable steps that we can take on a monthly, weekly, daily, sometimes even hourly basis to make sure we're going to be aiming towards what we want and that we can achieve it. So many salespeople make the mistake of solely focusing on the end result of what they want, the end product of all the actions that it would take to get that product, to get that result. They neglect the reality of the process. What happens when you set these unrealistic goals, happens to so many salespeople, is that they burn out before they start to see the fruits of their labor revealed to them. They burn out before they even come close to achieving them. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can set yourself up for success by focusing on the process. Same way that extremely obese man who wants to run the Boston Marathon can get there by getting healthier day by day and focusing on his actions to get there. You want to break that $1 million in commission goal into much more manageable, bite-sized steps. So how much do you actually need to sell, right? How much do you get paid on average a commission for your product? Are there bonus incentives involved? Is it pure volume? What does that start to look like in terms of how much you actually need to sell? Then you start to figure out how many people it takes that you interact with to be able to get a sale. What does that look like? How many conversations do you need to have with someone to generate that type of revenue? And then it gets deeper. You start figuring out how much activity, so texts, DMs, cold calls, door knocks, emails, whatever it is, do you need to do to be able to have one of those conversations? And then you go, okay, well, it requires this much activity. So then you go, oh, okay, it requires 50 cold calls before someone's actually having a conversation with me where there could be revenue. Okay, it takes 1 in 3 out of those conversations to get paid $750. Okay, so then we can start to break down how many conversations do I actually need to have to be able to make the type of money I want? How much activity that I am in direct control over in terms of my time. That's the best thing about sales. You are in control of your own activity. You have control of your time. You have control of your money. How much time do I need to set aside to be able to put in the activity, have the conversations that get me the sales, that get me to my goal? This is the same way that guy should sit down and count calories to figure out how to lose enough weight that he can run a certain amount without hurting his knee, without straining his hamstring, right? All the aspects of getting better in terms of setting goals and fulfilling the things you need to do to achieve those goals, all of that is as relevant to getting in shape as it is to getting your money right, especially as a salesperson where your activity is what determines your money. And what you need to do is celebrate your progress along the way, because setbacks are going to happen. If you don't find a way to just be celebrating the activity, to push through and be happy at achieving the activity you wanted, at getting the things done, even if they're not done right. Find a way to do that, because if you don't, you're gonna get miserable and you will burn out. The key to success in sales is really not about setting big goals. It's about setting actionable steps that you can follow up on and adhere to. Habits you can form and maintain that get you to those higher goals, that get you to the numbers that you desire for you and your family. If you're enjoying this video and wanna learn more, be sure to like this video and follow this channel, Vivid Selling, because I'm breaking down a lot more soon. Most importantly, start focusing on the process today and stop just thinking about the pie in the sky number. Be realistic, be reasonable, and focus on what matters. That's how you're gonna push ahead. That's how you're gonna achieve your goals. Set your goals the right way, and you will make more money and have a much better life as a salesperson than you ever would have otherwise. You wanna be on a yacht and on a private plane, on a jet, going around the world, enjoying all those commission checks, all those bonuses, all this, the sweet life of the salesperson, right? That's what you want. You wanna be the top sales guy or gal at your company because you know they are paid well and they live very well. Some people, and I'm not saying this about you, some people think if they just close their eyes and manifest the idea of $1 million, bam, they're gonna make it. Suddenly it's gonna be in their lap because they've wished for it so hard, right? That was their goal. I want $1 million. I put it out into the universe, therefore I deserve $1 million. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Breaking down your big goals into not just smaller goals, but then smaller goals on those smaller goals, and then actual steps and activity in your sales job that you can do to get to that point. It's the only way to reach those goals. It's the only way to find your happiness if that's what you actually want to get done. Sure, we want to achieve the biggest dreams possible as long as you have a process to get to those things. And that process is reverse engineering the bigger goal to your daily actionable steps. So I'm not going to do the math for you, but you can do the math at home. I'm always doing stuff on a little calculator on my phone because I like to think, okay, if I want to buy this used plane, I want to buy this used personal jet, that's $14 million that has everything I want. How much do I actually need to sell to be able to buy that jet? Okay, well, if I want this jet, it requires this much of a down payment. It's going to be this much per month. So the first thing to even process is, how do I get that down payment? If the down payment is $3 million, let's just say, for whatever company you're working with, how do I get $3 million? Okay, well, what's my timeline to do getting $3 million? How much do I need to make? Because the truth is, almost anyone can make any amount of money over a long enough timeline if you just had to save forever and that price never went up, right? But we've got timelines, we've got lives, trying to live certain things and get that done. So, okay, I need $3 million. Well, to get $3 million, I have to sell, to get $3 million in 3 years, that's more than $1 million a year because I have my own expenses, I've got family, I've got a life. So I'm just putting aside $1 million a year. Let's say if I'm used to making 200 grand, that means I need to make 1.2 million in commission a year, right? That's what I need to do as a salesperson. How the heck do I do that? Well, now we want to figure out how much do you get paid per sale, right? So if you get paid, let's say $1,000, $750, it could be $30, whatever it is. We want to try and figure this out. Okay, it takes this many conversations with a new person to be able to get a sale. That's what my closing ratio is usually what people think of it. It takes 1 out of every 3, if you're really good, is a pretty solid number. I would argue you can do a heck of a lot better than that, especially compounded over a long enough career if you have the right techniques and tonalities, and I'll cover that more later, so subscribe to this channel if you want to see that stuff. But ultimately, that's kind of a key point here, is that if it takes 1 out of every 3 people to get a sale, how much activity do I need to do that I can control directly, that I can make the type of money I need to achieve my bigger goals, right? Reverse engineer this, figure this out. It is the way to be happy in sales. It's the way to make money. Go get money, go take care of yourself, set the right goals. I made that mistake before. I'm not making it again. Join me now. Don't make that mistake either. Let's go make money. Let's set the goals that we can achieve. Let's set big goals that we can then turn into smaller, actionable goals that we can then actually achieve, right? Let's be actionable. Let's be intentional, and let's focus on what we can do on a day-to-day basis. It's how you're going to make more money and achieve bigger goals than anyone else in your family could have ever even imagined.